Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 532 based on novel. So let's start. The 5th drop, 6th drop, until the 9th drop of blood flew out from the vortex and shot toward Wang Lin. Wang Lin's eyes shined brightly as he stared at the drops of blood that were flying toward him. He didn't dodge and allowed the 5 drops of blood to land between his eyebrows. They seemed to penetrate through his body. When the 5th drop of blood fused, a thunderous rumble came from Wang Lin's body and a powerful force erupted from the blood. Wang Lin couldn't help but take a few steps back, his eyes shining brightly. That powerful feeling made him clench his fists. At this moment, the 6th drop of blood followed shortly after and entered Wang Lin. Thunderous rumbles echoed and all the blood in his body seemed to boil. He rapidly absorbed the bloodline force inside this drop of blood. It flowed through his entire body, and when it entered his heartbeat was like a roaring bolt of thunder. He retreated once more and let out a roar at the sky. Intense pain came from his body. This pain was countless times stronger than the fusion of the previous 4 drops of blood. It was as if his body was being torn apart and new flesh and blood were growing. Shortly after, the 7th drop arrived, and the moment it entered the spot between Wang Lin's eyebrows, his expression became twisted. The veins on his body swelled and the speed of his blood flow reached a limit. Wang Lin's body began to move strangely, and as the blood flowed through his body, his bones also gave off a red light. The ancient bloodline forced inside his body rapidly increased. It went from very thin to extremely pure. The members of the ancient clan were same as the Celestials. The stronger their bloodline, the more noble their identity and the more power they could display. The fusion of 7 drops of blood made Wang Lin's bloodline second only to the ancient Tao Emperor. It has to be known that the Emperor was a descendant of the ancient Emperor and therefore held the ancient ancestors' bloodline. As a result, after obtaining 6 drops of blood, he became the ancient Tao Emperor. However, Wang Lin didn't have any ancient one bloodline and hadn't received recognition yet. Even though this was the case, the bloodline formed by 7 drops of blood could compare to the Emperor, who already had the bloodline and had obtained 6 drops of blood. The difference between the two was a difference in essence, like that of an emperor and an ordinary citizen. However, this difference wasn't immutable and the 8th drop of blood flew toward Wang Lin. The moment it fused with him, the bloodline became even more pure and the rumbles from his body became more intense. Bursts of pain came from Wang Lin's bone marrow, causing him to continue to retreat and tremble. The ancient bloodline was the same as the celestial bloodline, it changed the bone marrow. Once the bone marrow was changed, the blood one produced would change and the power of the bloodline would be born. However, it was difficult to change the bone marrow from within, so external force was needed to slowly change it. This external force was the drops of blood that had entered Wang Lin's body. As they flowed through his body, they were rapidly changing his bone marrow. Wang Lin's bloodline had gone from ordinary to noble, from a mess to authentic. The fusion of 8 drops of blood didn't make Wang Lin's blood become pure enough to reach the same level as the Emperor, but it was infinitely close, just a trace more. This gap was crossed and surpassed once the 9th drop fused. 9 drops of blood fused with Wang Lin's bones and changed his bone marrow completely. He now had a bloodline that was even more pure than the Emperor's. In terms of bloodline, Wang Lin had the most pure blood among the Tao clan. However, it was not over yet. The appearance of the soul blood caused the surroundings to be bathed in a purple light. This purple blood had a strange force, and the moment it appeared, it captured Wang Lin's full attention. He looked at the purple drop of blood. A sense of longing from his blood filled his body. The purple blood released a monstrous purple light and imprinted itself between Wang Lin's eyebrows. It didn't fuse with his blood or bloodline, this drop of blood fused with Wang Lin's soul. The purity his bloodline would allow Wang Lin to erupt with ancient power, but it wouldn't change his soul. In the end, his soul would still be that of a member of the ancient Tao clan. However, this soul blood could change Wang Lin's soul, allow his soul to be above the others of the Tao clan. Allow him to truly become an existence more noble than that emperor. It would be as if he had become the ancient ancestor's 4th son. The moment the drop of soul blood flew over, Wang Lin was stunned and his eyes were filled with confusion. His body moved back on its down until he landed on the altar. He leaned against Yi Mo's arm and lied there. The vortex slowly dissipated and soon disappeared without a trace. Everything returned to normal, as if nothing had happened. If there was any difference, then it was quiet. It was so terrifyingly quiet that there was not the slightest bit of sound. All the fierce beasts had hidden themselves. They trembled and didn't dare to make a sound. There seemed to be a pressure spreading out in this strange silence. Wang Lin was unconscious. If he didn't wake up, this place would remain quiet for tens of thousands of years. If he didn't wake up, no sound would appear here. This pressure came from his body and spread out across the surrounding area. Wang Lin's original body was asleep and his avatar was floating outside the altar. His avatar sat there with its eyes closed and remained motionless. As Wang Lin was asleep, he had a dream. This dream was different from the dream Dao. It wasn't clear and very blurry. In this dream, Wang Lin saw a person. This was an ordinary-looking man. His body was extremely large and the heavens and earth seemed to be below his feet. He stood there, looking over the world with a hint of contempt. If I want this sky to collapse, it will collapse. If I want this earth to break, it will break. If I want a being to die, no one would dare to stop me. If I want no celestials to remain alive, who would dare to save them? I'm an ancient one. I was born before the heavens and earth and survived the beginning of the world. However, before me there were celestials. The celestials wanted to make me their slave, so let me destroy the celestials. If I fail, then all my future generations will become enemies of the celestials and vow to rid the world of celestials. But will I lose? I'll never lose. 9 drops of soul blood I give to my 3 sons. You all take command of my ancient people. Wait for my reincarnation, wait for my heir to appear. Obeying means being immortal. Defying means being a celestial. Defying the celestials means becoming an ancient one. This dream slowly came to an end as the ordinary-looking man spoke those shocking words. Even after Wang Lin opened his eyes, those words still echoed in his ears. The 8 ancient god stars between Wang Lin's eyebrows revealed a hint of a purple glow and slowed rotated. The ancient devil and ancient demon stars in his eyes also rotated and gave off a faint hint of purple. This purple came from that soul blood, it came from Wang Lin's ancient one soul. He slowly sat up and looked at the space before him. After pondering for a long time, a powerful aura that looked down upon the world came from his body. This aura disrespected heavens and the earth. Even if the heavens and earth decay, I won't decay. Even if the world withers, I won't wither. This aura belonged to the defying nature of the ancient ones. At this moment, Wang Lin was vastly different from before. As he sat on the altar, his gaze swept past his surroundings. His gaze moved past his avatar and eventually landed on Yi Mo's giant arm. His eyes shined brightly. This arm contained a powerful force. This power seemed to be able to tear open the world. This was ancient Dao Yi Mo's most powerful force. Staring at this arm, Wang Lin slowly raised his right hand and pressed down. The moment he pressed down, his 24 stars rotated and a burst of purple light surrounded him. This purple light entered Yi Mo's arm. In an instant, the giant arm trembled and seemed like it was going to struggle and resist. Although Wang Lin had obtained Yi Mo's inheritance, it wasn't perfect. If he wanted to merge with the arm, there would be some difficulties. However, this was only difficult for Wang Lin before he went through the ancient race heavenly blood calamity. Now that he had obtained 9 drops of blood and a drop of soul blood, it was simply insignificant to him. Yi Mo, give this arm to me. Wang Lin spoke slowly. It was as if he was muttering to himself, but also as if he was speaking to the dead Yi Mo. His voice was calm, and as he spoke, the purple light from the 24 stars became even stronger. It spread out an aura that would frighten Yi Mo if he was alive. This aura entered Wang Lin's right hand and he pressed down on the arm once more. There was a thunderous rumble and the arm stopped struggling. The arm slowly shrank until it integrated with Wang Lin's right hand, causing his right hand to suddenly become very different. Wang Lin's right hand was extremely rough compared to his left arm and was covered in countless complicated runes. It also gave off a hint of greenish blue. It could frighten anyone at a glance. He raised his right hand before him. Wang Lin's gaze was calm as he looked at his right arm. After a long time, he grasped at the void. Heaven ripping. Space trembled, and as Wang Lin's right hand ripped, the world collapsed. The shadow of a huge arm appeared behind him and tore open the space. A large rift appeared before Wang Lin and widened. It had been torn open by him. This heaven-tearing power could even kill an early-stage arcane void cultivator. Even mid-stage errant void cultivators would have to retreat in fear. With this tearing force, the altar Wang Lin was on buzzed and trembled. Ripples echoed as if it was resisting the fallout from the heaven ripping. Wang Lin carefully looked at the altar below him as the ripples echoed. His eyes revealed a strange light. There is something strange about this altar. Since arriving at the altar, Wang Lin hadn't had time to observe this place. Most of his attention had been on the arm on the altar. Even though he was very cautious and had scanned this altar with his divine sense, he hadn't found anything abnormal. However, after he absorbed the blood and the soul blood, along with the ripple caused by heaven ripping, the veil covering the altar was lifting. Wang Lin's eyes shined. Why would the altar appear here, and why is Yi Mo's right arm here? Wang Lin pondered as he carefully looked at the altar. This altar was very ordinary, nothing looked abnormal about it. If not for the ripples echoing above it, it would be very difficult to see anything strange about it. As the heaven ripping spell disappeared, the ripples also slowly faded until they returned back to normal. Wang Lin stood up and walked off the altar. At the same time, his avatar also got up and walked forward. After taking one step, his avatar and original body overlapped. The two figures slowly overlapped and slowly fused together. Wang Lin moved his body, and after finding no discomfort, he looked back at the altar. Then there was a flash of coldness in his eyes and his hands formed seals, sending restrictions flying out. There were almost 1 million restrictions. He pointed forward with his right hand and the 1 million restrictions flew out toward the altar. They landed on the altar one by one. Every restriction caused the altar to tremble lightly. As more restrictions landed, the altar trembled even more violently. Near the end, thunderous rumbles echoed, as if the altar was going to collapse. As the altar trembled violently, fine cracks appeared on it. Soon, rubble began to fall off from the altar and scattered. Wang Lin became cautious. His hands formed seals and created even more restrictions. They surrounded the altar and slowly landed on it one by one. This caused the altar to tremble even more violently, and even more rubble fell off. After half an incense stick of time, a layer or rubble had fallen off the altar, and it looked like a layer of fog surrounded it. The altar had shrunk about a circle in size, and even more cracks had appeared on its surface. The strangeness about the altar is likely what's within. But there is a strange force preventing me from seeing what's inside with my divine sense. Wang Lin stared at the altar and created 1 million more restrictions. The countless restrictions landed on the altar and even more layers fell off until it was only half its original size. Just at this moment, when the altar was covered in cracks, one of the cracks seemed to reach the center of the altar. A blood-red light erupted from the crack and took the shape of a fan. It was as if a gem had been found hidden under mud and an opening allowed the light to shine through. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he stared at the crack releasing the red light. He controlled the countless restrictions around him and they all flew into that crack. However, just as the restrictions got near the crack, more red light came from another crack. Shortly after, the third, fourth, fifth. More than 10 rays of light shot out from the altar, forming a red ripple. When the large amount of restrictions touched the red ripple, it was like snowflakes touching hot charcoal. A sizzling sound echoed and they all immediately dissipated. All of this happened in the blink of an eye, and all of the restrictions disappeared due to the red light. It was as if they were natural enemies. Wang Lin stared at the altar that had shrunk more than half and was surrounded by the red light. His eyes shined brightly. This red light looks very familiar. Could this altar be Wang Lin's heart trembled. The moment the red light spread out and got close to him, Wang Lin's right hand clawed at the red light. Yimo's giant arm suddenly appeared before him and also clawed at the void before him. Heaven ripping. Wang Lin let out a roar and his right hand tore to the side. With this roar, he used the full power of Yimo's right arm and also his 8-star ancient god, ancient demon, and ancient devil power. This tearing force was powerful enough to rip the heavens apart. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the red ripple coming from the altar distorted violently and was torn apart by Wang Lin. What collapsed with it were the cracks on the altar. Under Wang Lin's heaven-ripping spell, the cracks collapsed on a wide scale. The red light wanted to prevent this but was unable to resist. Thunderous rumbles echoed and the altar collapsed completely. The larger round of rubble scattered, and what was revealed before Wang Lin was an octagonal-shaped blood pool-like object that gave off a dazzling, red glow. An aura Wang Lin was familiar with spread out from this octagonal blood pool, and Wang Lin was filled with joy. So it turns out to be that there was a clan in the ancient star system called the Sealing Extermination Clan, and they had a spell called the 3-Life Spell. In order to cultivate this spell, one would need the complete altar, but for some reason, it was split into 3 parts, and these parts had disappeared. Wang Lin was lucky and obtained the blood pavilion from the blood ancestor in the brilliant void. That blood pavilion was one of the 3 altars. Then he learned of the 3-Life Spell and obtained the 2nd altar from the ancient demon in all heaven. As for the 3rd altar, Wang Lin had looked for it but couldn't find it. When he saw the bloodlight, rumble echoed in his mind and he began to speculate. Right now he was certain that this blood pool gave off the same aura as that blood pavilion and the other altar. This was the aura of the Sealing Extermination Clan. 3-Life Spell. I didn't expect to obtain the last altar here. If I can learn it, my overall strength will increase greatly. Wang Lin's heart started beating rapidly. He had been tempted by the 3-Life Spell, and now that he had obtained the 3rd altar, he was very happy. Without hesitation, Wang Lin waved his hand and the altar he got from the ancient demon flew out, and shortly after, the blood ancestor's blood pavilion also flew out. A woman had gone into the blood pavilion before, and she was someone Wang Lin knew. However, over the years, her body had long disappeared and only a wisp of her soul remained. The 3 altars floated before him, and the bloodlight they gave off began to mix. It was obvious they were drawn to each other. Wang Lin had obtained the method of cultivating the 3-Life Spell from the woman from the Sealing Extermination Clan inside the ancient tomb. At this moment, after pondering a bit, Wang Lin sat down. The 3-Life Spell of the Sealing Extermination Clan is dangerous to learn. However, compared to the benefits, the danger is worth it. Wang Lin's right hand reached toward the void. A clan mark that gave off a ghostly light appeared in his hand. This clan mark still had some dried blood marks on it. It was the Sealing Extermination Clan mark. Wang Lin had extracted it from the Sealing Extermination Clan woman who wanted to kill him back in the ancient tomb. Staring at the clan mark, Wang Lin pressed it between his eyebrows. A burning feeling spread out from the mark. Then countless branches extended out from the clan mark and attached themselves to Wang Lin. This kind of pain wasn't enough to affect Wang Lin at all. He remained calm as he bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a mouthful of blood. With the Sealing Extermination Clan mark, I activate this altar and summon the sealed Sealing Extermination Clan's ancestral spirit. Turn into the sealing blade to cut 3 souls, 3 origin souls, 3 bodies. The moment Wang Lin's voice echoed, the blood he had spat out condensed together and began to wiggle before him rapidly. Then the 3 different altars all released blinding, red light that was absorbed by the blood. The blood slowly turned into the shape of a blade. It wasn't large, only about 10 feet long. It looked like overlapping shadows, and if one looked at it for too long, their vision would blur. Looking at it with his divine sense, Wang Lin immediately noticed that this wasn't 1 blade but 3 blades overlapping each other. The overlap created a strange aura around them. Wang Lin roared, "Cut 3 souls!" The long blade suddenly rose up and silently chopped down from above Wang Lin's head. This blade sliced through Wang Lin's entire body. Wang Lin's body trembled violently and his face turned pale. Unimaginable pain filled his body, making him feel as if his soul was going to collapse. However, he endured the pain and two souls slowly flew out from his head. However, just as the blade cut through Wang Lin, it seemed to be unable to withstand the power of Wang Lin's soul and collapsed. Out of the 3 overlapping blades, only 2 remained. Wang Lin's soul had fused with the ancient ancestor soul blood and was now an ancient Dao soul, so how could this mere blade cut his soul? If not for the fact that Wang Lin's soul was formed by his essence blood, the blade wouldn't be able to cut his soul at all. Even though it had cut Wang Lin's soul in 3, this blade couldn't withstand the rebound force from Wang Lin's soul. It dissipated forever and could never be summoned again. Cut 3 origin souls. Wang Lin endured the pain and let out a roar. As he roared, the double shadow blade rose up and fell down. There was a flash of bloodlight as the blade sliced through Wang Lin. His body trembled violently as this origin soul was split into 3 parts by the mysterious power of the Sealing Extermination clan. At the same time, one blade collapsed into pieces. Wang Lin clenched his teeth and roared without hesitation, cut 3 bodies. As he roared, the blade that only had 1 shadow remaining sliced down toward Wang Lin. It was no longer silent but created a loud howl. The long blade cut through Wang Lin and then collapsed. As it collapsed, Wang Lin's body divided into 3. These 3 bodies were fused with 3 souls and contained the 3 origin souls. At this moment, the 3 bodies flew toward each of the different Sealing Extermination clan altars. After the 3 altars absorbed the 3 Wang Lins, the bloodlight around them became even stronger. They slowly rotated around each other, and in the blink of an eye, 7 days passed. After 7 days, the light from the altars had faded a lot, but they were still flickering. Another 7 days passed and the bloodlight disappeared completely. The moment the bloodlight disappeared, a powerful aura erupted from one of the altars. This aura was too powerful for the altar to endure, so it ended up collapsing. As it collapsed, the first Wang Lin walked out. At the same time, another altar was rapidly trembling. It instantly disintegrated and pieces of rubble scattered. The second Wang Lin walked out. Shortly after that altar, the blood pavilion erupted layer by layer. The Ancient One aura was too powerful for the blood pavilion to withstand, so it shattered. The third Wang Lin walked out from the destroyed blood pavilion. The first Wang Lin said, 3 life spell. The second Wang Lin calmly said, force open the fortune. The third Wang Lin's eyes revealed a strange light as he muttered, 3 bodies, return into 1. As the 3 Wang Lin spoke, the 3 bodies all took 1 step forward. They overlapped and began to fuse. After a long time, they fused into 1 person. His white hair danced and he opened his eyes as he floated there. He felt the powerful vitality flowing through his body. There were 3 parts, and each was equal to himself at full power. The 3 life spell, it is indeed mysterious. With this, I'll have 3 lives? Wang Lin opened his eyes, which were now filled with determination. He raised his right hand and the soul of a woman appeared. This woman was the one who had hidden herself inside the blood pavilion, someone he knew. Our grudge is gone. I'll send you into the reincarnation cycle. Behave yourself. Wang Lin waved his right hand and the woman's soul disappeared without a trace. Wang Lin looked at the remains of the 3 altars with eyes filled with pity. My soul and body are far too powerful. The altars of the Sealing Extermination clan could not withstand the impact of transforming me. Now that they have collapsed, there will no longer be any more 3 life spells. Wang Lin shook his head. What he had divided was not just his ancient Dao bloodline, but also his avatar. It could be said everything was divided into 3, and as a result, he had 3 lives. My body has obtained the ancient Dao bloodline and my ancient demon and ancient devil bodies have reached 8 stars. It is about time to leave. However, before I leave, I need to refine the ghostly sail. With that, I might be able to form my 7th essence. Once the restriction essence appears, my cultivation level will increase from mid-stage spirit void to late-stage spirit void. With my ancient Dao bloodline, I should be able to battle late-stage arcane void cultivators. There is also the battle essence. Back then, all the comprehension turned into the Star of Law. I'll need some time to readjust, and if another essence could be born, then I'll reach the peak of arcane void. Wang Lin muttered to himself before sitting down. His right hand reached out and the ghostly sail appeared. The restriction essence is only secondary. More importantly, since Fan Shanmeng was able to borrow it to perform the illusion spell, this sail must contain the Great Soul Sect's illusion Dao spell. The illusion Dao is the key. I need to study it. If I can gain some insight, perhaps I can use this treasure to look for the third soul, just like the seven-colored Daoist was trying to do. Right now it all depends on who can find the third soul first. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and various complicated plans were being deduced in his mind. I don't know what the seven-colored Daoist saw, but from this anger, he shouldn't have found where the third soul went. Aside from him, there is also old Ghost John. He is also looking for the third soul. I don't know what method he has. But they can't be looked down upon. They triggered the war between the inner and outer realms to find the third soul. Now that the war is over, they are perhaps using that method to search for the third soul. Originally, there were only two of them searching, but now that the four generals have appeared, they are the third force that is also searching. There is also that other force from the five-element planet. They have been hiding there for countless years and should show themselves soon. Third soul, who are you? Wang Lin silently pondered, and the thoughts in his mind gradually became more clear. Only by finding the third soul can I go to the gate and open it to take everyone to the immortal astral continent. Wang Lin closed his eyes, and after a long time, he opened them. His eyes were calm and he no longer thought about these things. He was about to observe the ghostly sail. However, just at this moment, Wang Lin's expression suddenly became serious, as if thunder had rumbled in his mind. He looked into the distance and his expression gradually became gloomy. I forgot one person. There was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes. He suddenly remembered one person. If someone were to tell him that person had died, he definitely wouldn't believe it. All-Seer. That person obtained the heavenly Dao blood. Even though the Azure Dragon Divine Emperor said that the blood had problems, there is no way the All-Seer is dead. He never appeared during the war with the Outer Realm. He disappeared without a trace. His schemes were amazing, and he has schemed against me many times. Now that he is hidden, how could I forget about him? Wang Lin's expression became gloomy. The seven-colored celestial sovereign was split into 3 souls and 7 fragments. As for the 7 fragments, I only know that Qing Shui is one of them. As for the other 6, I have my guesses. The All-Seer. Is he one of the 7 fragments or the third soul? Wang Lin's eyes shined. He recalled that the third soul had crossed the summoned river and entered the brilliant void. If the third soul ended up in the brilliant void, then it is very likely the All-Seer. If he really is the third soul, it would be far too easy to find. Is he or is he not? Wang Lin frowned. He could never see through the All-Seer. From the moment Wang Lin first became the All-Seer's disciple, his dread already existed. It became even stronger as All-Seer became even more mysterious. The All-Seer has devoured a large amount of disciples, and I saw 3,000 avatars in his body. I didn't know why he was doing this and thought he was just trying to reach the third step. However, looking at it now, perhaps he was trying to form Joss flames with those 3,000 avatars. It is possible. Or did he have some other purpose? Wang Lin thought of many things, but the more he thought, the less he understood what the All-Seer was doing. The All-Seer's fate soul was also not in the divine retribution in the ancient celestial realm. Wang Lin silently pondered for a long time before he slowly suppressed this thought. It was useless to think about it now. As time passed, he would naturally get his answers. His eyes lit up and he looked at the ghostly sail. He carefully examined it and saw that it contained countless restrictions. These included the 4 grand restrictions and more. If I want to give birth to the restriction essence, I must fuse all these restrictions. Once I master them all, the restriction essence will form, Wang Lin muttered as his divine sense spread out. He became immersed in the restrictions on the sail. Restrictions appeared in his mind one by one. First he had to know how many restrictions were on this sail. As his divine sense carefully spread out, the sail moved without any wind in Wang Lin's hands. The ghostly face became even more fierce. During these 10 days, Wang Lin remained motionless and spent all his energy on studying the restriction. Millions, tens of millions, hundreds of millions, and billions of restrictions flashed through his mind. It wasn't until the 10th day that Wang Lin slowly raised his head. His eyes were bloodshot. They can evolve on their own, it is impossible to calculate their exact amount. Wang Lin frowned and massaged his temples. He had grown very tired during these 10 days. This is a perfect restriction group that has been fused with this sail. Only by breaking the sail can I see through how they were formed. Wang Lin stared at the sail and revealed hesitation in his eyes. After a long time, he clenched his teeth and his left hand reached out at the void. There was a flash of bloodlight and the blood sword appeared in his hand. A cold light flashed in Wang Lin's eyes and he sliced down with the blood sword. A thunderous bang rang out when the blood sword penetrated the sail and tore open a gap. The moment the gap appeared, Wang Lin's divine sense rushed into it. Shortly after, the ghostly face on the sail became fierce, and it released waves of roars that echoed across the area. It was as if a violent wind was blowing out from the sail along with countless restrictions. The restrictions surrounded Wang Lin, filled this endless void, and spread across every inch of the cloud sea. The spatial crack in the cloud sea was completely occupied by a storm of restrictions. Wang Lin's figure was drowned by the endless amount of restrictions. When the restriction storm that occupied the entire cloud sea dissipated into one restriction, Wang Lin's restriction essence would form. He would have the power to battle late-stage arcane void cultivators. This video will end here.